Hello there, everyone. I know it is a Friday for many of us, and several of us around Asia is having a public holiday. So I want to thank you for joining me. I had many requests to run this session again, and I wanted to just come back in because number one, I think many of our communities are opening up right now, and really timely to have this conversation as to how can we take back control and be able to make the best use of the rest of 2020. So I'm going to give a couple of minutes to let some others who have registered come on in. It was a very short notice. I appreciate those of you who have put in the effort to make the arrangements on your busy schedule and be able to join me today. I fully intend to share with you 5 key things that I know that works, because it's not just about what's new, but it's also about what we have done. So, in my usual style, I have created the cue cards. And these are prompters. So the basis for which I have built this is my experience through the crisis of SARS, the experience through the crisis of the financial, meltdown that we've had 2 or 3 cycles of that already. And I know from the human spirit's perspective, we can and we will get over it. But how soon and how much enthusiasm, how much support that we have really depends on ourselves. So I want to start by saying kudos to you who have joined today's session, because you have, number one, invested in yourself, in your own personal growth. And I want to just thank you for joining me. And I am so grateful that you're joining me on a holiday for many of us. I don't know about you, but during the lockdown, I was locked down, but I was fired up. In fact, I had so many new ideas and projects while I work at home over the last few months, and I was actually busier than I thought I would. Of course, I traveled a lot less. Usually this time I'll be speaking in the stages out in Sydney or in the US or in Shanghai. But I'm grateful because I can see that there are many projects that I have put on back burner that I worked on, and these will be launching towards the end of the year. And it's a time that we double down on the goodness that I'm trying to get out to the world, to our community, because I think it would be sad if we lose the opportunity of a crisis to do something different, to reinvent, to reset, and to pursue our dreams, right? Because many times in the past we might think that, oh, there is just too much at risk, but no doubt this is a turbulent time in the world, and we are managing our attitude and our emotions, and we are moving forward. But I think the main thing is keep the momentum. Move forward. Do not let the quarantine distance you from your dreams. Every day you will find, you might find boredom, you might find that you know different things that distract you, but you need to create your own purpose. So in addition to my cue cards, I've also written down on my charts some of the things I wanted to cover with you. What's going to happen is, as I go through, feel free to put your questions into the chat box. I will look. And the reason why I'm looking down is because I'm looking at if there are any questions, who else are joining us, etc. But I will be progressing through the content. Time to level up. No more delays, no more complaints, and no more suppressing your potential, your opportunities right now. I want to share with you an observation, because I work with women business leaders and entrepreneurs from around the world, of sizable revenues, and some perhaps they're just like those starting the one person $1 million businesses who are well on the way being there. And those larger firms, what I am seeing is that there is an observation where the pandemic or whatever is happening right now is stopping many people from enjoying their life. Yes. But it is also stopping them from their progress. And that is where I feel that, yes, it is understandable. There is uncertainty and there is a lot that's happening. Most people would think that, short term, what's going to be happening. They are grasping at the comfort of it all. But we need to perhaps caution ourselves against waiting for better times and be able to realize what is the power of this moment that we can take. And this is what I want to share with you. If you caught on my post yesterday on LinkedIn and on Facebook, I post there to say, we have saved time from commuting. We have saved time by working from home. We have saved time from dressing up because we basically don't need to dress for office. We are basically dressing for more work from home. Where did this time go? Did it go into distractions, or did it go into something that is going to be paying off? As the businesses reopen, as opportunities come up, as we get greater clarity as to what the new world is. And that's what I want to focus on. Therefore, congratulations, high five. And if you are near to the screen, this is my high five to you. Thank you for joining me for this live cast. My name is Cheryl. For those of you who do not know me, I have worked in a corporate arena for almost 20 over years, and I still do, in the sense that I guide leaders to create more relevant, inclusive, and sustainable high-performance workplaces. And that's what I do from an inclusion, from a high-performance coach point of view. My other passion is in helping individuals, particularly women business leaders and entrepreneurs, to thrive and excel in what they do without compromising the lifestyle they desire. Why this particular group? Because this particular group wears many, many hats. So many diverse roles. So many expectations that place on themselves or society place on them. So I have a soft spot for women business leaders and entrepreneurs because I also know that with them, if they do something different, they will definitely be able to impact the next generation. This season, wherever you are in the world, in the last 8 to 12 weeks, we have been having challenges. We have been having our lockdowns. We are just beginning to opening up. So by popular demand, there were many requests, and I have decided to run this again. These are the 5 things that I'm going to be sharing with you. So if you have not yet, or you're new to the way that I would work on this, is bust out your journal, get your pen ready, and if you have a glass of water, because we're going to workshop through this. So it is not just me talking and teaching. Yes, there will be teaching, but I want to workshop this because, number one, I believe that as we workshop through it, we come up with a plan at the end of this session. Number 2, if I were to just teach on and you do nothing, you basically have nothing, but maybe some good content that's in your head, but not really translating into the intention of what the action will get out for you. So I want to help you coming out from the next 45 minutes or so to come up with your to-dos, come up with a game plan, and come up with a way to turn back on and win 2020. I will be asking questions. So one of the ways that you can actually keep up and be workshopping through is answer in the chat box. You can ask me questions. I'll be looking through. I may choose to answer through the presentation or towards the end, depending on how relevant and whether I'll be covering that at the end of the session. Okay, let's get started. Number 1, let's see. How many of us made New Year resolution 31st December 2019? Right, share with me one of the goals that you might have make out, on in December 31st, 2019. Share with me in the chat, or share with you if you don't want to put it out to everybody. Just share with me in your private chat. That's fine too. All right. Okay. Thank you for. Okay, I guess we are warming up. Chats in the privates. Thank you. One of you want to grow in your role and be able to move up to the next level in your organization. Okay, and then you added, now I'm not sure because I'm working from home. I'm not sure if my boss knows how much I'm contributing. Yes, so that's a challenge. Another, hey, Pauline, good to see you. Okay, so you'll join me on the other chats. Okay, so this is simultaneously beamed out to our private our private coaching clients too. So I'm having chats coming in from two different segments. Hey, Pauline. Yes, so we have shared your goal was to grow your business beyond the 7 figures this year. And you were on track in 2019, but you're not sure right now. Well, let's just do something about that. Let's jump right in and look at how we can reset and reinvent right now. I want to ask you, in the last 8 to 12 weeks, when you went into the lockdown or the limited movement, etc., how did you feel? What happened? Right? Do you remember? Do you remember the emotions? Do you remember what you went through? And if you were like me, I went into a little bit of a survival management mode. And if I were to observe the rest of the world, so did the rest of the world. We look at how we withdrew because I think one of the big impact was that we ended 2019 with such a high, with such hopes of a new year, not just new year, but it's a brand new decade in front of us. Everybody was saying 2020 is going to be a brand new era. Boy, were they right. But nobody knew this whole pandemic was going to be unfolding in front of our eyes, and the impact on businesses, on jobs, and the rest of how we are living. And therefore, our first response was survival. We withdrew. We sort of hunkered down. We withdrew, and we brought back. We looked very much inwards. What is within our control? What can we do? And then so we were looking at survival at that time. And make matters worse for some, we work from home, which is another brand new thing, and brought in brand new issues around role conflicts. And if you have kids, you will be looking after kids who are also homeschooling. That adds to the stresses. So that's so a lot of things came in that was brand new to all of us, and we just need to have that. From the human perspective, a lot of overwhelm that was thrown at us. So what did we do? We probably hunker down and just look at, okay, what do I actually need to be doing right now? How can I set up my Zoom account? How can I organize the kids so that we all have our private spaces while we all are online, either working or having school? And therefore, the days, initially it might be just for 5 to 7 days, and then it became a week, and then it became a month, and then it became 3 months. So the days all merged and blurred together. And let's just say that COVID-19, there is no post-COVID-19, but rather how do we navigate even when COVID-19 is around us? That's the key to turning back on and win 2020. How do we navigate? So we are not waiting for the vaccine, right? We are not waiting for other things to unfold, but looking at how we ourselves, through our companies, through our businesses, through our communities, can turn back on and win 2020. And the very first thing is I want us to connect back to the future. How often have we looked at our dreams and our vision and what the goals we set for 2019 were in the last 90 days? If we want to pull ourselves out and look forward, we need to be looking at forward. We need to turn back on and win 2020 by looking at what do we envision for 2020? What do we want going beyond 2020? That's the first thing I want you to look at. Why is that so important? The problem if we keep focusing on the right now, is that there is no sense of hope, there's no sense of future. We withdraw further in. We do not look at what's progress, what hope we can live into. And that's why a sense of hope will give us a sense of vision, and it allows us to have that opening to navigate the process towards our vision again. And as we begin to take action, as some of you would have everyday experience, as we begin to take action, you realize, hey, the fears that we had, were they real? Because with each step, the scenario is different. New things open up for us. We begin then to take the next step and the next step. And with that, it gives us new perspectives. New perspectives. So in as much as I say that I've taken this 5 from my learnings and the learning of my clients, my corporate clients, and my one-on-one coaching business clients, etc., their experience of the past, we have also been experiencing, because I took them through this way back in June. I told them, let's do our half-year review early so that we can take advantage of the time when everybody is just hunkering down and withdrawing, to plan, to pivot, to reinvent, so that we are ready. By the time summer is over, we are ready to go back and seize the market, do something different in our role, do something different that makes us come alive, engaged, and looking forward again. And we have tested this, and it works. So the first thing is connect back to the future. What is the vision that you have? Share with me what is the vision that you have, and then how are you going to connect back? So I want to ask you a question. What do you look forward to today, this morning when you woke up, 31st July? What do you look forward to? Some of you would be, oh, I'm back at work, Cheryl. What do you mean? Oh, well, it's a Friday. Hey, Christine, good to have you on the call. Okay, so you are looking forward to end of today having a walk out along the beach once again. That's awesome. Some of you are looking forward to a long weekend. Yes, something that brings you forward. You look forward to what's happening. That's today. So every single day from 1st of August onwards, for the next 90 days, I want you to write down something in the morning, what you look forward to in the day. It could be as easy as, I want to be able to have food delivered to me today. Because, my friends, some of the people out in different parts of the world still can't go out to get food. They are still locked up in their own home. They need food delivery. So have food delivered to you today. Some of you might be, end of the day, I want to be able to go and visit my favorite florist. Something that you look forward to in anticipation. Pull you out of the here and now into what will enthuse you for the future. A bigger question, what would you look forward to in the next 90 days? And that will mean end of October. What do you look forward to by the end of October? And my friends, let's start 2020 again. What do you look forward to in the next 12 months? Again, the sense of future, the sense of connecting back to the future gives us a sense of hope and journeying towards that. That's what's going to turn us back on and win 2020, because we will make progress. We will not be staying where we are right now. We will be making progress. So, and mind you, the examples I gave are not like big things. I'm looking at daily, some small things that will build our expectation once again. And then the next 90 days, and then I'll let you know a little while. Jacob, thank you for asking, why do I keep saying 90 days? I'll let you know in a little while why I keep saying 90 days. To get us out of the lockdown mode, we need to connect back to hope, to vibrancy, to being alive. That's key. So for myself, I am looking forward to end of this day to go to East Coast Park and have my run again. It is the reawakening of our senses, because when we were in lockdown, our senses have dulled. And so it's really awaken our senses to excitement and into the future once again. Some of the industries and businesses and roles will be changed. There's no doubt about it. Some of the way of work will change, as many of you would probably have experienced. But that is a change that we need to embrace into the future. It's an anticipation that you knew is going to happen right now. Businesses are going to open. The new thing right now is connecting to the future of what new opportunities are there in view of what you want to be achieving in the next 90 days and in the next 12 months. All right. Number 2. What's my number 2? My number 2 is connecting back to self. Why? Because we have curveballs thrown at us. We forget about ourselves. We take care of everyone else. We take care of everything else. We make sure that we have our notebooks all set up. We have our Zoom and all set up, but we forgot about ourselves. When we work from home, we look after the kids, we sort out everything else. And then some of us might experience some form of role conflict. And the role conflict happens when you are taking calls from home, and then your children or your partner or your spouse or your parents might be looking at you and say, I've never seen this Cheryl before. And then there's a dilemma, right? That the role conflict. And I've heard this from one of my clients, and he says, Cheryl, there's nowhere to run right now. I used to be able to run to office to have my escape from home and then run home to escape from office. But now home and office are the same spaces. So the ability to connect back to self. I'm going to share with you the rough formula. And the first thing I want you to realize is, whether you like to acknowledge it or not, we all have gone through a traumatic experience. We have gone through experience where there is anxiety, there is worry, and there's panic. My son was studying out in the UK. When this whole thing unfolded, I was like, oh my God, how am I going to get him home? And then the flights were all starting not to take off out of London, and then there were people were not able to come. I've heard from my friends from the US, they are not able to fly back into the UK again. So there's a whole sense of an unexpected experience that for some of us, we will need to do some work around connecting back to self because of the post-traumatic experience. For some, it's a lesser degree. For us, it's a bigger degree. Therefore, do take care of ourselves. How can we connect back to ourselves? In this sense of the best that we can, because there are still things being unfolded. There's still uncertainty, and there's still chaos. But how do we do that? Number 1 is to decide, how would we reward ourselves? So not looking at like the long haul, right? I'm going to reward myself with a holiday. Well, a staycation might be what we are looking for right now. How do you reward ourselves? That's the first R. How do you reward ourselves? By that, I don't necessarily mean that you have a whole tub of Ben and Jerry's ice cream. Unless Ben and Jerry ice cream is a reward, it is not a coping mechanism for worry and anxiety. All right. How do you reward ourselves? And that is actually priming ourselves, telling our brains, right? When we take the first step, we see progress, we have movement, we have momentum. What's the reward? Get that reward so that is being reinforced. And then the next thing I want you to look at is visualize the reward, so that again you reconnect back to self and reconnect back to what's important to you. Visualize the feeling. I can tell you that it is very, very powerful. I just did a keynote. I would have been in New York giving this keynote around how leaders need to value the human spirit in their talent. And what I shared with them was the season when I felt that I was not seen, heard, or included. How I felt. And then I visualized how I would feel when I am in a space where I am there's a whole different sense of countenance. And therefore, I want you to visualize that reward, that physical change in how you feel. You feel rewarded when you're connected back to self. The second is I want you to, again, feel and envision what does it mean when you are appreciated. There's a lot on our plates right now, a lot of things that we might not have even tried before, right? If you're working from home, you're managing the kids, etc. Visualize what does it mean to be rewarded. The kids coming up to say, thanks, mom. Or your partner says, hey, thanks for making breakfast today. Tomorrow's my turn, right? How do you feel when you are being appreciated? Again, embed that in, build that in. The next one is, how do you feel about being fulfilled? How do you ensure that you have fulfillment at the end of every day? One of the ways is to be able to write down, right, what you have done and how that's aligned with who you are. The others would be write down what were your, if you start with a to-do list, it's one of the greatest joy that I have when I take the item. I don't have a to-do list, frankly. I have to-do cards. And I write down the item on a card. At the end of the day, I have the privilege and the joy to be tearing it up. And I feel fulfilled that I have done what I have said that I would do on that day. So share with me, since we have gone through reward, appreciation, and fulfilled, what would you do to reward yourself? What rewards have you tried and what works for you? Anybody share with me in your chat, in the chats? Okay, rewards. Okay, no ice cream for you. Yes, Pauline, I note that, no ice cream for you. Okay. Oh, Jacob, excellent. Okay, Jacob is saying that when he gets to knock off his 3 to-dos for the day, what he does to reward himself is to give himself 30 minutes of game time. I'm going to get to that about distractions and constraints. Is it true that you don't have time, or is that time is a constraint because of distractions? I'm going to get to that. Right, so I want you to create an environment where you create success for yourself. That there's reward, there's appreciation, and there's fulfillment. And the last one is, I want you to create an environment where there's excitement. In the work that we have done when we studied the 10 human drives, you might have heard me talk about it before. There are 10 human drives. 5 are base drivers. Safety is a base driver. So when the whole issue, whole pandemic and everything happened, we withdrew back to our 5 base drivers. But to help us win and come back and be alive and turn back on, we need to get back to our forward drivers. Excitement, challenge are our forward drivers. So one of the challenge is, how do we get back into the field of play? Getting back into the field of play creates excitement. So what would get you excited to wake up every single day to get into momentum? What gets you excited? As I shared, when I first started this live class, I was locked down like some of you, but I was fired up. I was excited because, I am not traveling this season, and there was many things I wanted to do. And one of the things I can tell you that I gladly thought of is, yes, I have a brand new book for you, and I am having fingers crossed I can get it out by Thanksgiving. We'll see about that. But that got me excited that I actually have time to do my writing again. And the brand new book, The 24-Hour Woman, How We Live, Work, and Play. And I'm going to explore that through the eyes of life stages, and certainly post-COVID, or what we would say as living with COVID, right? So that got me excited. what other things got me excited about a new beta program that I'm starting, and I'll share a little bit about this with you later as we progress. What else got me excited? New opportunities of experimenting or speaking on stages through the camera. And it's a wonderful new world, a wonderful experience. So what gets you excited? Pull you out. Remember, we say connect to the future. And then as you connect to the future, what pulls you out is the momentum. What gets you up every single day is that you feel the reward, you feel the appreciation, you feel the fulfillment, and you get excited. Hey Wendell, thanks for joining us. Don't worry, as usual, you will get your recordings and you can catch up. Please be sure to watch right from the top of this recording. And I just want to say that excitement is one of the key pieces because a lot of us, having gone through what we have, our lives sort of to have been like a flat line. You know, it's just a bleh kind of thing, a flat line. What we do need is to let's get the heartbeat going again. And a heartbeat that is in anticipation, building in for the future. Next, when we look at it, when we say, we are in a crisis right now. Well, in every crisis, there are new opportunities. If you look at several of the large organizations, multi-million businesses, $1 million lifestyle businesses, many of them were born out of times of challenge, whether it's the last financial crisis, during SARS, whatsoever. But we should be looking at number 3. My apologies. New world of opportunities. New world of opportunities. We might not see it right now. We might say, oh, Cheryl, that's a lot more shutdowns. You know, the world as you know it is no longer to be true. But that means there's a new world being created. What is that new world? What is that new opportunity? We might be in a situation where our industry is less impacted, or we might be in an industry where it's totally impacted, like the airlines, right? Like Airbnb, and certainly for retail, etc. And definitely for events. But a whole new opportunity will unfold. I was to host 3 live events this year. Am I still going to host those live events? You betcha, because I saw a new world of opportunities. 2 weeks ago, we held a 4-day live event through Zoom. Nothing fancy. And everybody was telling us, oh, you should just cancel and hold it next year because people will not attend live events, etc. But we held the attention of that online event for 4 days. We had no dropout, and we had great participation. And people came back to say, we did not quite expect to have a different adventure, a different journey, but the takeaways, the learnings were rich. And that's what I hope I would inspire you to have, a new imagination of what the new world of opportunity is. Physical events is not happening. Can we reimagine what connected platform events can be? What can we offer? I have a client who is a renowned interior designer, and where for homes and showrooms, etc. And when the whole industry came to a standstill, she said, Cheryl, I don't know what to do. I mean, every lead is dried up because everybody's just waiting. Then I asked her, what are some of your new world opportunities? Those of you who work with me as your high performance coach, I will guide you, I will kick your ass to get the answers, to brainstorm with you, but I will not provide the answer because the answer is within you. The new world of opportunities is within you. So she brainstormed and she says, I was on this Zoom call or Skype call or Microsoft Team call, and some of the backgrounds are really yucky. Some of the backgrounds are like they're trying to hide where their kids have their Lego toys and everything else because everybody was working from home. Then I asked her, so what is the opportunity in there? And she tried it out. She emailed one of the CEOs that she was working with and said, Anne, you're working from home right now, and I noticed that there could be some improvements made to your background. may I suggest that I have the dimensions of your room, and I send you a draft as to how we can stage your Zoom room calls. And that's exactly what she did. She began a new stream of revenue by staging for people Zoom room appropriate backgrounds. Now, some of you have been using the virtual backgrounds, which works, but if you notice, if you're moving, you appear and disappear. And that gives a kind of not so solid, centered, being there with you kind of feeling. But so what she did was she created templates, if you like, of different ways that people can stage the spaces where they will be working from home. And she began a new stream of business. So I want you to think about it. Again, in your own space, where you are right now, whether you are an entrepreneur or you are in a corporate role, what are your new world opportunities? If your mind is blank right now, let me ask you, what are some of your skills sets? Perhaps that's easier. Skill sets that you have right now that you can go back to connecting with the future that you have in the next 90 days, in the next 12 months, right? And that's something that would reward you, make you feel appreciated, make you feel fulfilled, and excite you. What are some of the new world opportunities based on your skill set? Hey, Evelyn. Thanks for joining us. Hi, Evelyn. Right. So if you are able to look at that, then what else can you be doing with your skill set? So don't think about roles. Don't think about titles. And mind you, that may not be of importance anymore, because when you look at the new world opportunities based on the skill set that you have, the network that you have, and recast that into solving new problems or problems that are existing, you will find brand new opportunities. I found brand new speaking opportunities by speaking right here in Singapore to audiences that's around the world. Last week, I spoke on a stage that was supposed to have been in New York City, but because we aren't flying in there, the whole thing was broadcast through, get this, through the US instead of just being on a stage in New York City. So it helps you take on a whole new audience, if you like. Or you are like my client who decided that she can still be doing interior design by doing home staging. For people who wants to have a Zoom room background that actually looks good regardless where they are, given that they are definitely not inclined to be using virtual backgrounds. So look at how you can look at new world opportunities using your skill set, your community, your networks, and new problems that have arisen. One of my other clients moved from being an events company to one who look at how can we be serving the community in bringing food to those who needs a proper meal because they lack in whatever ways. And because she pivoted her event skill set, etc., and began to create this movement of bringing a gift of hope, that's what she called, a meal a day, she began to get people, large firms, gifting companies, etc., came behind her to be gifting. And guess what? It is still running an event. So making use of her skill set and creating the way to leverage new opportunities. What might be your way of seizing these new opportunities? What might be some problems that you can be solving? What can you offer that will solve those problems right now in your current role, in the organization, or in your business? It's time to pause, reassess, reset, and reinvent. Reset means what can we prune off. Reinvent means how can we look at repurposing such that we are forward looking into the future. We find ourselves and open up ourselves once again and not be in slumber, and look at these new opportunities. Number 4 is I want you to build a new wall. What do I mean by that? I want you to build a new wall in being able to see what you might be able to get to. Why is that important? Now, if for some of you who have been to my my recording studio, next to it, you see that I have a mini office. And in my mini office, I have pieces of paper like this. Some of you who have worked with me, we do 12 pieces. I tend to do 18 pieces because I look at rolling 12 months. So every one of this, it for me is a month. And then I put it on my wall and I put it on it the 90 days, what are my goals? And then I look at every month, what does that mean? And I break it down. What does that mean? How would that help? Having this new wall in your home, in your office, wherever you are working, and I mean a physical wall. I want it visual. I want it big. I want you to see it and be enthused and inspired by it. I've got people who like, okay, I write down in my journal, Cheryl. I write down in my planner. Yes, but there is something about it being out there and every day you are inspired by it. This is your inspiration. This is what will call in your reward, your appreciation, your sense of fulfillment and excitement because you're seeing, wow, this is how things are unfolding. And these are the number of cards that I have torn apart, and that is your new wall. So let's restart from August onwards. 12 different pieces of paper, and write down every 3 pieces that comes together for a quarter. I'm going to share with you right now why, in a moment, why I say a quarter. Every month. So you have a quarter and then you have every month. What are your goals for that quarter? What does it mean for you to hit those goals? Remember, we look at how would you feel fulfilled? How would you want to be rewarded? How would you want to be rewarded? How do you want to feel appreciated, fulfilled, and excited? Build this in. What does it mean if I hit that quarter? What does it mean then translating into my monthly? I usually would work with my clients to say, what are the 5 big buckets that you must hit in order for that to happen? 5 because it's manageable. Again, why 90 days? So the question is, why 90 days? 90 days because it is far enough for us to do something about. And if we set a big enough stretched 90 days goals, that's based on our ambition for the year. Imagine if you hit 4 big goals. For example, if you wrote a book, if you start a podcast, if you in your own corporate arena is able to make an impact, whether it's financial, it is organizational change, something like that, a big goal, right? And if even for your family, if at the end of that 90 day that you had wanted to, you build a better relationship with your children. Imagine in 12 months time, in 4 quarters, you hit 4 big goals that moves the needle for you. And that is the important thing. That again, it connects you to the future and it connects back to yourself. It moves the needle for you. And that's the reason why I like 90 days. 90 days is far enough for us to do something about and for us to reach that goal that will build into the quarter to quarter and then year on year. And that's why I'm looking, truth of the matter is I'm looking towards working with 5 business leaders, entrepreneurs who wants to make their next 90 days matter, to turn back on and win 2020. If you're interested, reach out to me via my email. Just drop me a chat or email me. Get that done. So my simple question to you is, what's the wall going to show me by 31st December 2020 when I go to your office, when I look at your wall? What will it say? And then when I look at that and then I say, okay, so show me how you have done it. And I look into your schedule. Does your schedule reflect what's on your wall? Have you reflected what it is that you want to achieve. And that's why for me, having a visible wall is important. What's going to be on your wall on a month-to-month basis? What would that month-to-month add on to your quarter? And what would that add on to your 2020? The final thing I want to share with you is bust those constraints. This is where our mind plays game with us, right? That, yes, Cheryl, I can build that wall, but I hear that often. Oh, yes, Cheryl, I see that there are a lot of opportunities for Evelyn, but not for me. I want you to bust those constraints because I can tell you in all the years that I've worked as a certified high performance coach, the biggest constraint is right here. We need to address that. Yes, I hear yes, but often the next word will be but. Try this with me in your own space with you now, and don't worry if there are people around you. Repeat after me. Yes, and. Say aloud again. Yes, and. Instead of saying yes, but there are opportunities, but say yes, there are opportunities, and what does that mean? And I need to look for them. And I need to connect with my LinkedIn community. And I need to get out there and have real conversations. So instead of yes, but, say a yes, and. That's the first thing. The second one is to ask, how can I make that happen? Instead of, now we can't travel, so we can't do sales. Ask, how can I still make sales happen? Right? Because it's as easy to say, no, I can't do my job here because I have no Wi-Fi. Ask, where can I find Wi-Fi? Right? So I want you to look at what are the constraints and be able to reframe from a yes but to a yes and. The second is to ask, how can I? And the final one is divide and conquer. The constraints that I hear right now. Oh, I have no time. Oh, there's just a lot of no's involved. There's no time. I've got like a ton of things to do, etc. I want you to divide and conquer. I want you to look at what are some of, first of all, your low-hanging fruits. That's the first thing for you to conquer. Then look at what are the high-impact, high-effort fruits, because that will help you build to win the 2020, 31st December, and into 2021. So look at two things. One, that is the here and now, your low-hanging fruits. And then look at putting in efforts also on high-impact, high-effort fruits. That is going to pull you and build opportunities into 2021. So those are the three for you to look at when we look at reframe, to bust those constraints by reframing your constraints. From a yes but to a yes and, from no, pure no, to a how can I, and from a sense of overwhelm and feeling the anxiety to divide and conquer. These are the five. And as I say, it's going to require you to challenge yourself. It's going to require you to be disciplined. Connect back to the future. Connect back to yourself. Be able to look at the new world of opportunities. Be able to look at what's your new world going to be like. I love for you, actually, take photos of your new wall and then come share with us on our Facebook page, the 24-hour Woman Facebook page called Self, Health and Wealth. If you don't know where that is, just comment on my socials and then we'll get you the access to that Facebook group. Share with me the new wall. Inspire yourself, number one. Inspire others, because we are on this adventure together. And finally, bust those constraints. Yes, we can. It's a yes, but to a yes and. Yes, we can. It's from saying a no to how can I. Yes, we can, because we divide and we conquer. These things are doable. And I know that because, like I said, we have gone through through the different crises that we have in the last 10 years, 20 years, if you count SARS. And we have my coaching clients, my one-on-one coaching clients and my corporate clients have gone through this since June when we did an early half-year review. So we know that this works. And I want to encourage you to try them on. The question is, will you do it? No, for those of you who answer a yes, I would love to be able to see some emojis, some share on the screens, some share on the chats, or any questions that you might have. These 5, will you do it? It's as simple as that. And you know what? It does take time. It will take effort, and it does take you to have a different perspective. So I hope today I've given you 5 different new perspectives of how you can turn back on and win 2020. I've given you strategies to work on, and most importantly, as a high performance coach, one of the most important thing I want to have to curate for my people, including yourself, thank you for joining me today, is a community of like-minded individuals who will journey together. It's an era where we would need to collaborate and be able to come together as a community to move together. So if you want to join us on our Facebook group, my team add you in. For those of you who are interested to find out a little bit more about what I spoke about for the 90 days that is happening from August through to October, because we have been on standstill, I'm taking a small number of individuals, and I really mean small number of individuals, through the next 90 days with me as their coach to be able to turn back on, to dial back in, and be able to end this coming quarter well, so that we are well prepared to end 2020 as a springboard into 2021. There's no better time to start right now, and it's something that is very close to my heart, because it is an opportunity. Don't miss this crisis by seizing the opportunity. So I want to thank you for joining me on this particular live class, given you food for thought and a lot more action to take. Like I mentioned, if you have busted out your journal and you have done the work and scribbled down even the answers that I have to the questions I have asked, you have a working plan. Because this whole session, I've shared strategies, I've shared tactics, I've shared case studies of people who have done it. But if you like me to be working with you and through the process, then stay on, because that's what I'm going to be sharing. What would it mean to work with me and to get your next 90-day goals going?